welcome back to Cindy's Library. I am Cindy, and today I am here with my Bronte ratings. So this is not going to include Wuthering Heights. I have not read that. At this point, I am not planning to read it. I have every confidence that Emily Bronte's masterpiece is brilliant, but Wuthering Heights, from what I understand, you either love it or hate it. And from everything I have heard, I honestly suspect I would be on the hate it side. Although I will say, if it is supposed to be a revenge story, I did love The Count of Monte Cristo. So, feel free to leave your comments below on whether you think if I like The Count of Monte Cristo, I would like Wuthering Heights. But as for the rest, at the very bottom, I am sorry, Charlotte, but you knew it was coming. The Professor. The Professor is about a young man who he tries to make it in England, but that doesn't work so well for him. Interesting family dynamics. He tries working for his brother. That doesn't work out so well. And he decides his best option is to go teach in the Brussels area, basically. And so that is exactly what he does. Leaves England for Brussels. He finds a position. He ends up tutoring not only at a boys' school, but also English at the girls' school next door, where he meets. It's interesting what position she has. It looks like she's more of a nursery person, or maybe teaches sewing at the beginning, but she wants to improve herself. So she joins in his English classes. Of course, there are potential forces that might keep them apart as well. But the main character, I'm afraid, in The Professor is probably the least attractive character among all of the Bronte main characters. Not that he doesn't have some interesting parts, but he has some dislikable parts. He is more prejudiced than anyone, and more misogynist than anyone as well. And frankly, Villette tells the story better from the female perspective. So aside from the fact that it is probably less than half the length of Villette, that's about the only thing that it has going for it. It's not bad, it's just not great, especially when we've got Villette as well. Oh, so next, I'm gonna have to put Shirley by Charlotte Bronte again. I mean, it is fun. You've got two very different main characters. You've got, I think her name is it's either, I think it's Caroline. think it's Caroline. She is the more traditional. She's being raised by her uncle, the curate. There's a factory owner. She's interested in the neighborhood. That's interesting. And then Shirley moves to the neighborhood. And Shirley has a stronger personality. And she has actual power to back it up. Since I want to say she's basically the old squire's daughter. So interesting comparison and contrast of different lives, both between their specific positions and their personalities. Both have a romance, a touch of industrial action, but only a touch. It's a fun read. I'm not sure I could call it great, though. That's why it is next on my list. Let's see. Next. That is a tough one. I'm probably going to have to put Illette next by Charlotte Bronte. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Because Illette is a very interesting book. It has a quieter heroine, and so I can see why some people don't like it. But still, I found it a very interesting story. Extremely well done, possibly even better than Jane Eyre. And it's basically the same plot as The Professor, except in this case, it is a young lady instead of a young man who decides to leave England for the Brussels region to find a position at a school. And there is romance, of course. A lot of interesting looks at the life of a woman and a teacher and how limited they are in some ways. But for as great as the story is, it's not the most enjoyable read. An interesting read, but not the most enjoyable one. So yeah, that's why it's not higher. Next, that is going to be The Tenant of Wild Bell Hall by Anne Bronte, which again is a great book. And it certainly keeps your attention the whole way through. You start with George Markham, who gets interested in a woman with a young son who moves into the neighborhood. There's great mystery surrounding her. And he, of course, the more he finds out, the more he wants to know. And he eventually does find all about Helen and her tragic story. And that is the main reason why this story isn't higher up. It is a great story. It is an important story. It's an extremely well done story. And it does have a happy ending. But it is hard to read because we look at Helen basically making an unfortunate marriage. And there is talks about the effects of having an alcoholic for a husband and bad society and trying to protect against that. And a husband who is unfaithful, and not only that, he flaunts it. And even abuse, emotional if nothing else. And what can Helen do about it? Well, legally, nothing. Divorces were rarely granted at the time. Sorry about that. Anyway, it took an actual act of parliament to enact a divorce. Most men couldn't get a divorce. For a woman, impossible. And so, from a practical perspective, what realistically can Helen do? So that is the story of the tenant of Wildfell Hall. Like I said, important story, a great story, but not a happy story. So that leaves the last two. This is a tough one. I think though I'm going to have to put Agnes Grey, again by Anne Bronte, next. This is a look at the life of a governess, but this is more of a realistic portrait. Nothing semi-mysterious. So, our heroine, Agnes Grey, due to various circumstances, she feels she needs to help her family. And so she goes out as a governess. The first one, she goes to a family with younger children. And it doesn't go well, mostly because the children are spoiled and Agnes gets zero support from the parents. The second time Agnes goes out as a governess, it goes somewhat better. The children are older, particularly the two young ladies, and the boys are old enough that shortly they go off to school, which simplifies that matter. And so the young ladies are old enough to actually listen and understand, although they're still rather spoiled, but it goes somewhat better. There is still a touch of romance, of course, which complicates things in some ways. And I'll also say that at the end, Agnes ends up starting a school with her mother. But a very interesting look. Very intimate. That's a good word for it. Agnes Grey is a very intimate book about a governess. And then at the top, I think I have to put Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte because it is just such a masterpiece. And Jane Eyre is such a marvelous character. I think I have individual reviews for most of these books, so I will include all the ones I can find below. But there you have it, excluding Wuthering Heights. There's my Bronte list. The Professor, Shirley, Illette, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, Agnes Grey, and Jane Eyre. So, What do you think about the Brontes? What order would you list their books in? And can you convince me to read Wuthering Heights? We shall see. I welcome your comments and suggestions below. I thank you so much for visiting. And until next time, I hope you all stay safe and healthy. And as always, happy reading!